Ragamuffin Days. She closed the book, placed it on the hall table that rested on the wall below the staircase, and finally decided to walk through the door. The key that locked it dangled on a short silver chain around her neck. She had the job now of walking to the middle of the section, country square mile, trudging over a sandhill and gathering blackberries. Her family called them long blackberries. They grew wild and abundantly on the shady side of any barren hill, in any section in her part of the world. Their flavor was special. It was somewhere between elderberry and black raspberry. The season for black raspberry was over, and the season for elderberry was 2 months off. The yard that she surveyed from the porch was burned dry from a 2-week drought. It often happened in mid-July. Against the boughs of a large white pine, she saw something like a dust swirl, or the weird phenomenon of a flock of birds making sudden changes in unison. It was a swarm of gnats catching the rosy glow of sunrise. Mourning doves hooted, one from the ornamental maple. It would not in its lifetime grow taller than 20 feet, and the other from the dense center of a thornapple tree that stood at the edge of a grape arbor in the far corner of the yard. A tractor putted in the distance, probably someone at the far side of the section hauling round bales to the edge of the field, where they would later be encased in tubular vinyl. One thing she knew. She would get her pant cuffs wet on the way to picking blackberries, and then gritty with sand. In midsummer, when the mourning doves hoot and the sunrise is rosy, the half-grown clover of the 3 hayfields she needed to cross would be drenched in morning dew. Other mourning doves would continue hooting as she picked blackberries, and at some point she would begin to feel insecure. It's a fool's errand. The tarts won't be any good. The puff pastry resting in the refrigerator is overworked. The cream to go on top won't whip. I'm wet and dirty. What's the use? The silence of these parts made her thoughts all the more poignant and piercing to her conscience. In the city, traffic was second nature. Here, you studied the sound of a car on the road as it approached from nearly a mile away, or, if you happened to live on a gravel road, you studied the plume of dust that rose up behind it even before hearing it. This is what she had written in her diary before trekking out at dawn to find wild fruit. These are our ragamuffin days. At the end of Dies Irae, they sing, Amen. I am probably now at the farthest reach from this Amen that I will ever be. I being myself and not a child any longer, and not yet being old or infirm. These cannot be faulted, of course. I am saying only that we must revel in our time, whenever and wherever it is. The melody that is under this chant for the dead that begins Dies Irae, Dies Illa, is the mournful hum of the world. For now, I shall break the mournful hum of the world by adopting my very own style. Not as when Mother said, "What are all these little dribs and drabs of things at the back of the refrigerator? Throw them out." This is the mournful hum that I shall, for now, not adopt. I will gather fruit and make tarts for my true love. The end.